Hello, Warriors. Let's have a great week. Hi, TJ. Hey, Ren, what does Mabuhay mean? Mabuhay. Hi, Ziggy. No, that wasn't me. Thank God. I don't have COVID. Hi, Kevin, Brock, Didier, Arena, everybody. Okay, so we have a green screen. S&Ps. That I know. Led by a weaker dollar. Okay, so yeah, we all know by now weaker dollar positive for risk. And today is not the day to fade the dollar when you have the euro up 48, 49, and cable only up 14, which is making euro pound work. You know, I'm afraid I might miss this one. I just didn't buy it in here. But you know, if we start closing back over, say, 91.10, I think we're going again. So I'll give another day or two, see if there's another entry, but I'm bullish, okay? Bullish, but nothing on yet. Oh, thank you very much. I'm doing okay. You know, even when you're, not doing okay, you're doing okay, right? Because you could always look around and see people that wish they had your life, right? So, you know me, I'm trying to be grateful for the things that are good. It's a Filipino greeting. Means, oh, okay. Well, I really don't know what to do with the euro right here. It's right up against a trend line. It looks good. Maybe we're going to have some type of three here. One, two, three. I'm not ready to throw in the towel on the dollar. We bounced off 38%. Maybe we're headed towards this 93.20. Although Grega's line in the sand, I think, was about 93.40 when we spoke last week. For a continuation move down in the dollar. Okay. So I may look at the Dixie on the next, it's only 30 points away here. So the only position I have that um, was kind of an impulse trade. I admit it. I didn't think that this 104.90 was going to be the end of the yen correction. So I started selling some in the 50s. I'm wrong over 89. Maybe I'll get one more break. I thought maybe we'd see 104.70. I rarely catch moves when you have candles like this. I really don't believe these are bottoming formations. I'd much rather see, it's not, that was my target when I recommended shorts last week, but it's not just the price, it's how it gets there. I would have preferred it, a few candles and then a reversal candle at the breakout at 104.90. So we'll see. Maybe we're just going to correct this pop before we go. I know Greg is looking for 107 here. He's bullish. So we'll see. Um, Canada, I think, is, right there at this breakout level. Better hold here. So when you don't have a clue, what do? You just bend over and tie your shoe, right? Oh, the yen, yeah. Well, my thesis on the yen is higher yields, which we're getting this morning. 10 years, I still think is trying to come out of here. Check it out. There's your daily. So I think higher yields are coming, are starting to happen here. And this is usually constructive for the long side of US dollar yen, higher yields, and usually bearish gold. Okay. But gold is up 4 and silver's up 32. So that correlation isn't working. But maybe we get this one more push down in the dollar, up in gold. A lot of people, I've heard people talk about 1960 in the gold. I don't know. When I look at this daily, it still looks like we're, underneath a breakdown. And I'm looking for shorts in the gold. I think they're going to come around the same time as an S&P and NASDAQ short. And although the markets are higher, I'd say one thing that besides the yields that I have a lot of conviction on, and the yields and VIX look a lot alike when you go to a daily. So here's a 30-year. Here's a 10 coming out of a triangle. See this triangle? Maybe I did it on the 4. Yeah, so you have this triangle, and the VIX is just a little behind it. 3440. Yeah, I'd like to see that, but you see how the VIX looks very similar to yields. Okay, so I have conviction about yields, not as much about what to do with the currencies right here. So let's see what else. Was there anything? Canada, like I said, Canada's got a hold. The only other thing I want to talk about besides EG, which I think, you have to find, I want to find a spot to be long. I think you also want to be long Aussie Kiwi, maybe not here, maybe on one more break, but it's starting to look like, well, here was the falling wedge that I talked about last week. And now it looks like it's developing into some type of head and shoulders formation. So I'd be looking to buy one more break for the right shoulder. And then you have measured move up near 110, which is the recent high for the move, confirmed high. So I like this Aussie Kiwi too. I'm going to let the rest of the team talk about the yen crosses. Okay. And we have Shy Girl with us today, and a good day to talk to her with what crude is doing. It sure was ugly last week. And there was some news, I guess OPEC news, and we're up $1.60 today. So, Stacy has turned bullish on crude, and we'll have a chance to talk to her about levels that she's looking to accumulate. So that should be a good interview. She could update us from what she had to say at the summit. And I'm going to just toss it over to Blake and see what he's thinking with a pretty strong euro here. I still think there's one more short left in euro. I know a lot of people think 116 may have been it, but we still could have one more push down before we go to new highs, down to around 115 or so. So I'm not done with the dollar on the upside yet. The moving average is coming in. Where is it? 93.26, which is okay. So you have a daily moving average and a 50% retracement coming in around the 93.20 level. Write that down. And I'd say the one thing that really dollar's dead meat. Okay. One thing that really stands out to me from last Friday after the announcement of our president having COVID is the formation in Microsoft, which should be higher today. But this was Friday's action. Sure looking like a right shoulder developing in Microsoft here. And Amazon, and some of the measured moves, if we get a breakdown, are about 2,300. So I looked at the weekly on Amazon, and here it is, 2,400, 2,300. That's a big move in Amazon. So Uh, Most of the high growth MAGA FANG stocks look like that. Even Facebook. Facebook kind of looks like a little head and shoulders here too, doesn't it? Weak rebound. So that got my attention Friday. I mean, the market fought its way back. The S&P's, the Dow, but NASDAQ was down 2.5, 2.75% Friday. So on rallies, S&P, I'll be interested, Jess, to see where the NASDAQ 100 is. Should the S&Ps get to your target of 3450? And I think what Jess is looking for is a stop hunt above these levels. And Jess is a good trader. I've watched him trade for many years, going all the way back to FX Street. So he's thinking that what we have to do first is take out these highs and clean out the bears here. And that could happen. 1, 2, get a 3 up here. 3450 to 520. Okay, 507 is 78.6 back. Thank you, DJ. Yeah, head and shoulders, Amira. How are you today, Blake? God, it was hot here in San Marcos. Yesterday didn't even cool off at night. I thought I was in Arizona.
Good morning, Dale.
Really?
Can you hear me
How
all
are
right?
you, bud? Huh? Yeah, you sound good.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it was a hot weekend, but actually things are cooling off. I'm looking forward to this next week. We're finally getting into some decent weather.
Mid 90s
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
high.
mid and low 90s actually.
Oh,
Um,
Nirvana.
yeah, so we have a little, we have the euro popping. Euro's coming right into resistance, which we'll talk about here in a second.
Okay.
Uh, you know, Obviously there's a lot happening at the moment with, with well, there's a lot of things. We have an election coming up in a few weeks. It looks like, based on the tweet activity from Trump, he's probably going to be released today, I'm assuming, and that's what it seems like. And like I said last week and over the weekend, I believe he's going to be fine. He's got the best medical, best medical attention that anybody's going to get. So and I think I always thought he was going to be fine. So it looks like he's going to, like I said, based on the tweets that we're seeing, it looks like he's going to be released today. That could be one of the reasons for the optimism in the market. Also, I'm reading that other traders are citing that the election polls still remain pretty wide. So that's the lack of risk of a contested result is keeping stocks relatively bid too. The stock market just doesn't want any turmoil. When I say turmoil, I mean election turmoil. Like President Trump contesting the election results, that type of thing. So, overall, stocks look pretty good. We're a little higher. We're still right up against resistance, though, Dale. I don't know. I think we still have to see the stimulus deal get pushed through in order for us to really break higher.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
And I don't know if that's going to happen. I keep trying to think about it from, each party's point of view. Like, if you're the Republicans, you're trying to push something through because you want to, you want to try to save the presidency. B, you've got a lot of Senate races that are so close. You want to get something done for the people and be able to say, here we are as Republicans, we worked across the aisle to do it, right, to get it done.
Yep.
If you're a Democrat, or excuse me, if you're like, let's just call it Nancy Pelosi, I guess, or just the Democrats, do they have the incentive to really push forward with allowing this stimulus to get done ahead of the election? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I understand that there's a lot of people, lives at risk and money and, you know, families that could really use the money right now. I get all that. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you happen to be on. Politicians are going to push their agenda first, right? Before, you know, so it's a little complicated, and I think a deal will get done, but will it get done after the election? You know, can they continue to, you know, kind of push it off? I think the markets are optimistic that a deal will get done. I think that's one of the things that's keeping us higher. But I do think that while we're in this range, and I'm looking at the S&P right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and put this range here. I think we have to be really careful. You know, the 3,200 to 3,400, 34 and a quarter, really. You got to be a little careful being, you know, trying to get directional in the market. I think that we're dealing with some volatility here, so just be really careful. So right now, as of this moment, I'm going to write down two levels for the S&P since we're here, 3,400 and then 3,425. Right? I think these are the same numbers from Friday. If I'm, whoops.
Yeah.
Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, I need to. Where's my star? Here it is. And then S&P support's going to be at 3,300, right? And then after that's 3,200, but really 3,300 is support right now. So, you know, while we're here, this also, let me delete this for a second because that I think is irrelevant at this moment. Could we be developing? Is it possible? We got a little head and shoulder pattern here. I think that is quite possible, right? Not saying that it's going to happen, but I mean, just look at what's happening with the S&P. I mean, it's a risk,
Fading.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we could definitely get a head and shoulder pattern, take us back to 3,200 as well. So, now, what does that do to currencies? Well, let's look at the euro, because let's realize that the euro is at really key support right now. We are at the 38% retracement, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are also at or near the neckline of the head and shoulder pattern, the rounded top, whatever you want to, however you want to look at this. We're at resistance. And I would even venture to say that resistance is a little higher than where we're currently at. I would say this neckline comes in around 117.85. I had an order to sell euros at 117.80 all last week, at the end of last week. Never got done. And I actually have the order paused right now, but I haven't lit it back up. I'd rather, it's one of those things that if I'm in front of the computer, I'm just going to react when price gets up there. So if the euro gets to excuse me, 117.85, I'm going to start looking at it as a possible short. Do you know, does that mean that I'm going to short it? No, but I'm going to look at it as possible one. Excuse me, really quick. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so I still think we're bearish, guys. We're holding the 38% retracement right now. I still think we're bearish while we're below this red line. Period, end of story. Sorry. Support for today, 117, obviously. And actually, we could go even further than that. We could say it's 116.80, 116.80. Okay. All right. Let's go over to the cable. Cable, same story. Whipping around based on Brexit news. I would rather not even play the US dollar or the cable, and you guys should be very well aware of that. I'm just not dealing with it while it's in between 130 and 127. Remember, 127 is the 200-day moving average. 130 is previous support, current resistance. And this pair is whipping around on all sorts of, you know, headlines. So, by the way, stocks are coming down a little bit. Let me figure out. I'm just looking at futures are coming down just a little bit. I'm trying to figure out why, if there's any particular reason why. I mean, other than, we know where we're at, but there, it's actually moving a little bit. Um, like the Turkish lira just spiked up. The rand, the dollar rand just pushed higher. The dollar Mexican peso just pushed higher. So I'm just kind of looking around to see if there's anything that's really causing this, and I don't think there is. Okay, so let's go back to what we were talking about. So the cable, 130, 127. Are there any levels in between there? Not really. I mean, right now, I guess support would be 128 for today. If we got down there, I don't know if we're going to get down there, but
Hey, Blake, that channel you had that we broke down out of, where would a retest of it be above the market on cable?
130.50 right here. Well, it was 130.50 last week. Now it's
Yeah.
130.70 maybe.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's one of those. This is the previous trend line here. Last
Yeah,
week we were like, well, if it got above 130, we might spike to 130.50. But now it's because it's a rising trend
right.
line, it
Yeah.
is obviously higher today than it was last week. So,
Watch
and
that for a kiss, maybe.
yeah,
If
I
it
mean
gets up there.
it's entirely possible, especially with the euro as bid as it is. Like, let's say the euro spikes up to 118. We could get a. Okay, I'll give you a scenario. Stimulus deal comes through.
Yeah.
Market goes woo, but let's say the stimulus deal is at 1.7 trillion. The market might the market
Be
might
happy
spike.
for an hour.
Huh?
Yeah, the market might be happy for a few hours.
Or maybe even for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
They go, wait. We were hoping it was going to be closer to 2 trillion. Now you're saying it's, 1 point, let's just say 1.6.
Give us more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as much as the market was anticipating. So we might actually see the dollar weaken really fast and then strengthen right after that. So I try to think of what are the scenarios. Why would we get up there? How would we get up there?
Yeah.
That could be a reason. Obviously, there could be some Brexit news, and I have to say, Dale, thank goodness we've got Amanda in our chat room, and it's not just because Amanda's such a great trader, but she really, being in the UK, and she stays so on top of the Brexit news. I really don't know every facet to the negotiations and the EU trade agreements that they're trying to put together, but it's different when you're in your boots on the ground person in the
Right.
country. You get all of the news and all the different bits and pieces of the story, where here in the United States we don't. So
Yeah, hang out in members chat if you trade cable.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
where you'll find her.
Amanda's got a real, she's in there talking about, especially when a headline comes out. A headline will come out about the fisheries, and she'll be like, that's rubbish. It's they've been talking about that for months, and that's never going to do anything, things like that. And you don't know those little nuances as when we're
Yeah.
outside of the UK. So anyway, she's truly a huge value in our chat rooms. Remember, if you guys are Forex Analytics subscribers, it's right next to your face or your avatar. You can go to the chat room there. That's how you get there. This is what it looks like if you guys don't know. There's Amanda right there. And there's Paul Franco, and you can see that we're just chatting around all day. So put us back here. Hold on. All right, let's get back into the charts. Aussie. So the Aussie is a little stronger today. If you were listening to the week ahead video, I was looking for a move up towards this is the underside of that channel. And that would press us right into this resistance here, which would be 72.25. This is another situation where last week I had an order to sell Aussie dollars at 72.20, hoping that we'd spike right up into here, and we haven't got there yet. And I just canceled my orders over the weekend. But right now we're holding the 50% retracement that comes in at 72.08. Support right now is going to be 71.35. So I'm just going to write those numbers down. So let's go 71.35, 72.10, basically. I believe that we're bearish while we're outside of this channel. Okay. I think we get really bearish once or if we drop below 70 cents, obviously, because that's the big breakout point over here. So Kiwi, we're still, nothing's changed from last week. Kind of got this bear flag. I don't even know if it's a bear flag anymore because the flag now is longer than 50% of the stick, so of the flag pole. So, but we are holding. So we're holding 66.60. Support is at 66.10. We still have that big double top too. I'm still bearish, while we're here. Still big double top up here, but see how we're back in the channel? That I don't really like so much, but I think we have to still approach it with a bearish slide. I'm more bearish on a drop below 66 cents. So just letting you guys know that we have to get below here for me to turn really bearish. Okay, still going. Dollar Canadian, yeah, big support. This is the neckline. As long as we are above, well, let me get rid of this. 132. See that low over here is 30. 132.30. You can't be bearish. And speaking of Amanda, she put it up. She said it pretty well today. Hey, the dollar Canadian's holding up pretty well, given that stocks are higher and crude oil is higher. I mean, crude's up 4.3% right now. The dollar Canadian, you would think, would be a lot lower. I mean, we opened at 133 and we're at 132.70. We're down 30 pips. So what? I mean, it's holding up pretty well. That's because we've got this inverted head and shoulder pattern, right? Resistance today is at 133 and a quarter. And I think we still have to be bullish while we're above that 132.30. Dollar Swiss, haven't even looked at it today, frankly. Here we are pulling back towards 90. The 618 is 91.45. So I'll just say 91.45. I still think it's in a range. Resistance today is at 92.20 and then 92.50, but we'll write down 92.20 for now. Dollar yen. Oh, dollar yen. So check out the dollar yen, guys. We are at the downtrend line. The major downtrend line comes in. I say major. It's important. But what's really major is going to be the 618 that comes in at 105.80. It's actually 105.82. That's the 618. That's why I'm being a little bit more specific with the number, but we are still in a range. Dips to 105. Remember, we've been writing down 105.15. Last week, we dipped just below the 105.15 level, spiked below, but we really, for all intents and purposes, held it. So I'm just going to write 105 now. Dollar index. $618 retracement. 93.50. You guys should already know that. Here's your neckline. Comes in through here. So 93.50 key support. But in order for the dollar index to start turning bullish, we'd have to get above 94 again. See, it's previous support here. That's that spike high right there. We really have to get back above there. Okay. So
Good luck.
94. It's bullish, but you know, just because we're above the neckline, but it really doesn't turn bullish like, you know, like, oh crap, I'm short, I need to start, I'm going to get squeezed out. You know, we have to get back above 94. That's where it really turns like intraday bullish versus being in a trend bullish. Dollar Mexican peso. This is a good chart right here. Take a look at the dollar mex. So the dollar mex is testing the channel breakout point right here. That low comes in at 2140. So key support today is going to be 2140. I don't think this is good resistance, actually. You see that spike low from way over here in June. That's basically where we're at right now. Resistance is going to be all the way back up here, which comes in at 2180. So it's pretty far away, just in case we get a bounce. Okay. This one we're going to keep at range still because we've come off pretty aggressively here. 618 comes in around 2150. I still think we could be bouncing around in these levels for a while. Yeah. All right. US dollar, Norwegian krona. Here we are at support. This is the 38% retracement, which you guys should know is 925. We're holding it, but we could get a little lower. We could drop maybe a little bit lower towards 920, just in case the dollar weakens a bit more. I think we are on support right now, but I'm going to give us a little bit further down to 920. Resistance is 940, and it's bullish. Okay, let's take a look at gold. Gold's spiking this morning. Gold is keeping the pressure on the dollar. Okay, gold's, okay, this is that 1905. What's I think really important right now is this downtrend line here. We came pretty close to it on, I think it was Friday. That resistance is going to be at 1920. Support. It's going to be right here. Be 1880. I think that's what we've been writing down anyway. All right, guys. I believe your bias chart is finished. So that means I get to bring in Steve and Stelios to chat with Dale as well. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Stelios. You're off the trip, or off your boat, off the boat.
I was planning to be on Face on Friday, but really we were at this remote island and there was zero signal, so I apologize.
He's doing it on purpose.
I know he is. He's like, oh, he's like, you know, he sent us a picture over the weekend. He's like, oh, look at me on this boat. You guys, I hope you guys are having a great time.
Wish you were here.
Wish you were here.
No, I wish it was my boat.
You know, I'm really, I gotta say, I'm very jealous for those of you that live in Greece, because you do have at your fingertips, you have, it's like, you know,
Paradise.
It is paradise. I mean, I've only been twice, but I love Greece, and you know, there's no place quite like it. I mean, there isn't. So anyway,
just like I tweeted, I said there are a lot of things wrong with Greece, and this is not one of them.
Yeah, right. There you go. I missed that tweet, but yeah, this is true. Well, hey guys, so it looks like President Trump should be okay, unless somebody's tweeting for him, which Could happen. I mean, you know, when we did the debates, the Trump account was live tweeting. So obviously, it's not just him on his Twitter account. It's, you know, it's his staff. So, you know, we've seen a lot of get out and vote tweets that came out from President Trump today, but it looks like, you know, he got the coronavirus, as you guys know. It looks like he's going to be fine, which, you know, we had all assumed that that would be the case. But I guess the question is, how does this impact because what I care about most, and most of us do here as traders, is how does it going to impact his election odds? Because my opinion is that he has, you know, constantly made the coronavirus, you know, not a very important subject matter. He'd been trying to play it down. Obviously, he contracted it, and so did a lot of people in the Republican Party. And so, does this really shine more of a negative light on Trump? Because I could see both points of view. You could say, well, you know, he got the coronavirus and he's, you know, strong enough where he bounced back, and it's not really a big thing. So if you know, 70, you know, or if he's 74 years old and he can bounce back, then it's really not that big of a deal. I can see that point of view. But how about if one of the GOP Republican folks that contracted the coronavirus at the same time, how about if one of them gets really sick, or, you know, worst case scenario, then how, you know, does it change that view? I'm kind of, I could see both sides. That is the reason I'm saying all this. So what are you guys' thoughts here?
I think my opinion is it's going to depend on how he comes out of it. You know, he's always been saying that, look, you know, we need to open up the economy, and this is okay, a virus, but we need to surpass it and move past it. And if he does come out of it, you know, in good health and all guns blazing, he's going to be even more vocal, and he might convince some more people that this is the right way. And interestingly enough, the first reaction we saw when Trump was he said that he has the virus, was that Pelosi suddenly became a lot more how should I say it, soft, right? And she said, yes, things have changed, we need to find a solution and this and that.
Yeah.
So theoretically, or in practice actually, the immediate reaction was positive for him, for the deal, so for him as well. So I think he's going to find a way to spin it. If he does come out of it in relatively good health, he's going to find a way to spin it that it's a positive thing. I don't know what you think.
That's the point, is I think that you can spin it in either direction right now, you know. I do. So Steve, what are your thoughts there?
I think that we tend to try to analyze very frequently things as we would do a few years ago. Unfortunately, it seems to have little application nowadays. I think with the polarization we are already seeing, the people that already distrust, hate, you know, add whatever you know, adjective or verb you want there, Trump, will still find a reason to think that this is another indication of failure. I mean, how can they protect people if they can, you know, if they end up having like super spreader events, etc. People on the other hand that, you know, love him, that would vote for him, that are all for it, they're going to find a way to say, there you go, you know, he was right about it, you know, he's a winner, nothing will get him down. So I'm not sure that it's going to move the needle one way or the other. I think we're still going to have an election that's going to be more Trump versus anti-Trump, and that as a third outsider, I think is also in a big part due to Biden as the selection from the Democratic Party. Because, I mean, in all honesty, I don't know how many people are really eager to vote for Biden. I mean, I think a lot of Democrats would rather vote for, other choices.
Yeah, it's going to be, all I have to say is I think it's going to be a really interesting next couple of weeks. But
Perhaps there aren't enough undecided votes, Blake,
The-
for it to matter. Because
I don't think it
everyone's
matters.
going
And that's a great point, Dale. I think people have made their decision. Now the question is, does everybody cast a vote? So you know what
I
I
just
mean?
have to say one thing. I know he's fine. He's going home,
Yeah.
but they hit him with everything, that experimental cocktail. And then they also hit him with steroids that I read were really only given to people who were in trouble with oxygen and on ventilators. So he's gotten some treatments that are mainly reserved for people that are deteriorating.
Well, let's
expected.
let's acknowledge the fact that he is the president of the United
Yes,
States, and
exactly.
Yeah, so they're going to hit him with the bazooka.
He's going to get the whatever he needs,
Yeah.
As quickly as he needs it. That's why he was at Walter Reed. Like people were, oh my God, he's going to Walter Reed. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't he? I mean, dude, you got to be within a second away from needing help if you need it. I mean, so yeah, I mean, of course he had to go to Walter Reed. That makes complete sense. But so when people were freaking out about that, I'm like, yes, Kettle, settle down. He's got to be there for the precautionary reasons. Why wouldn't he? But anyway,
anyways, on steroids, he ought to do a little bench pressing today.
Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna let you guys take over.
Oh, see, Stelios laughed because he lived.
I think the tweet storm today proves that he's still on steroids for sure. Yeah.
Well, again, I don't even know if it's him. But you guys, hey, happy Monday. There's your bias chart. I'm gonna let you guys take over. I'll see you guys. Right. For those of wait. I guess we should say this. Steve, I noticed, and Steve's development team is the reason why I'm because he manages them. I noticed on our site we still have our seasonal offer. When's that coming down? It was supposed to come down today.
Tomorrow European hours early. So it's the last day they have, less than 20 hours left.
Okay, all right. So I thought, as I said on the week ahead video, this was supposed to be gone this morning. So it's going tomorrow morning. All right, that means that you guys have less than 24 hours to retweet this. Here, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat box. Retweet this. You guys are going to have to, I'll do it here. Oh, there it is. Retweet this to enter the giveaway. So retweet that
and reply to it. Yeah.
And reply to it. Yeah. You got to reply to it. Say, hey, I want to be part of the giveaway. And then we're going to, at the end of the week, this week, we'll Steve does a randomizer thing that we'll get 3 lucky winners. All right. All right, guys. I'm gonna
good luck today, Blake.
Thanks, guys. Good luck to you.
Bye, Blake.
Bye.
So Donald Trump is on a cocktail of drugs. I was on a few cocktails myself.
Yeah, we saw the pictures.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope he pulls through okay. I mean, we don't wish anybody to be harmed by this virus. And see what happens. But Blake is so right. We're going to get so much, such interesting last 4 weeks to the elections. And I'm sure a lot of spin is going to be put onto how things evolve with him.
Yeah, besides the obvious fact that wishing somebody ill is obviously a sign that something is wrong with people, no matter how much you disagree with somebody.
Yeah.
My personal viewpoint would be that it would not be a good development even for the people that want things to normalize. So I think that for people that hate Trump, that we just want him to get out of there, the best way to do it is via an election process.
Of course. Anyway, so that's definitely hotting up on that side. And
it's so surreal when you don't think things could get any crazier, and then they keep on getting crazier.
2020, man, it's weird.
Wow.
2020 Yeah, there's no such a thing like things can't get any crazier. They can.
Exactly.
Well, they used to say that in a bull market, anything that could go wrong doesn't. And in a bear market, anything that can go wrong does. So if we're still in
Bull
a bull
markets,
market,
Dale,
huh?
you haven't been learning the lesson. Now we have to change that because the dynamics have completely
Oh
changed.
God, I have to
Now
throw out all my old
you
expressions.
you have
A
to
whole
throw.
lifetime
Yes,
of
you have to.
accumulating knowledge that's worthless
Yes,
now.
you have to throw
Oh
out the
my God.
manual. Now bull markets are as
Uh,
follows. In a bull
God,
market, everything
what a
can go wrong,
waste.
and as long as there is enough stimulus to paper over it, it's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
Okay.
I know nothing. Go ahead.
So the other area where we have developments almost on a daily basis now is Brexit and the UK and the EU. There's going to be more meetings and yet more meetings because really by the end of this month they have to do something in order for them to have time to ratify it, etc. So it's all heating up, and we have, interestingly, we have a few friends here who are writing, commenting about Brexit, and I agree. The general. My general idea is that both sides would like to get a deal done. No doubt about it. And we have the coronavirus outbreaks, maybe a second wave now starting, actually not starting, it's already started. You can't, theoretically, you can't add more fuel to the fire by saying, right, this is going to be a no deal agreement. We just clean break and see what happens. So in the end, there's a lot of factors that I think are going to play on the positive side. And our friend Sansi is asking that the French will need some kind of agreement. There's a big trade between the UK and France and Europe in general. So I think that's been my thesis for a while now. I think there will be some kind of an agreement which will resolve a lot of the uncertainty. And really, this is what you want. So if you're bullish the pound, obviously. So I think I would love to get another drive up towards 92, 93 in euro pound. Dale, you were talking about that. I think it might happen as we go into the end of the month, and especially if there's no progress made, then markets are going to get jittery. They always do. So if we get another squeeze towards there, I would be looking.
Looks very likely, Stelio. Just look at this move lower.
Yeah, it's corrective, right? Yeah.
Yeah, in the comparison to the previous explosion higher, this looks very orderly to me. So yes, I would guess from a technical perspective that another leg higher from here is very likely.
And I'm guessing AB equals CD, 94 or something like that, close to the old
yeah,
the previous highs.
It depends on how low we go, but 94 looks like a very likely scenario. Yeah.
Well, I'll be looking at that depending on the force of how quickly it goes up. I'm gonna probably slowly ease into shorts. Otherwise, we had some data today. PMIs, everything is nice and green, all better than expected apart from Spain. So, we continue with this theme where we had the big crash in March and April, and then slowly we're getting back to some kind of normality. But like we've said before, autumn is here, winter is coming. Hey, winter is coming. And this is not going to bode well for the virus unless obviously there's a vaccine or something or some kind of progress. So
Stelio, I was reading yesterday an assessment from the German side, and in essence they were explaining that even if there is a vaccine imminently, they were explaining that in order to roll out vaccine and vaccinate enough of the population under ideal circumstances, so we can start retracting measures against the coronavirus, which are the same course that hinder economic growth, would take 6 months, and that was a best case scenario type of assessment. So people need to take that into account.
Yeah. I agree. I think this winter, no matter what happens, we're going to be exposed to the virus, and see, the question is damage control now. So
I think hoping that we're going to have a normal summer next year is an ideal scenario at the moment.
Yes.
It's not like a mid-range scenario, it's an ideal scenario.
Yep. Otherwise, not much else happening data-wise. We have some PMIs of US later, but really nothing, all green, but nothing really that moves the needle either way. Metals again going higher in line with risk. I still think we're going to see, obviously, gold, the big level is what is it, 1920, the previous all-time highs? I think as long as
1900 to 1920. Let me pull it up.
we're below there, I think the risk is we go lower. But if we break, that's going to be tricky afterwards.
Yes.
Silver outperforming as it is gold on steroids. I still think we're going lower on both. Obviously, if we break out from 1920, then I might change my mind, but I'm still waiting for a pullback to get long.
Silver more or less looks the same, with the exception that the leg lower was a lot sharper in the case of silver. But other than that, the formation looks more or less similar.
Yeah. Okay.
Quite a nice recovery today in crude, by the way, Stelio. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah, I missed it. Was it some kind of, I was away a lot of the morning. Was it some kind of headline or something, or just regular?
I haven't seen
getting
something, but in essence, we've completely erased so far on the day Friday's big move lower. We've
OPEC
literally
related. OPEC related, I believe.
Was
that
it? I missed that.
Yeah, that they're going to come in line with supply or do something about supply. That's
Okay.
what I read. Yeah.
Well, they always do, don't they?
Yeah, I mean it's standard news from they just play a recording.
Breaking news: when oil price drops, they step in. Yeah,
it's on the video.
Who would
Same
have
guy
guessed?
saying, "Put out our cut supply video today."
It's in black and white. It's a very old tape.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Natural gas, by the way, somebody asked about natural gas. Natural gas has also had rebound today. Seems to have spiked lower on Friday to tag the 50% fib of this insane 2.5-day move higher. Wouldn't really be surprised if natural gas finds a low somewhere here. I mean, I was in the lookout for some type of a low. I was hoping for a move towards $2.2. I would be very, very interested in starting to scale in there. Let's see how we close today, and we can reassess. Somebody else commented about the USD CNH, if you remember, having to do with Chinese yuan. We talked about it, I think it was late last week. I said that, listen, I was looking at this 685 as a pivot area, and guess what? It rejected price action. So you need to keep respecting the potential for more downside, simply because, we've been in this move lower since the end of May. So it's already like 7 months that we've been depreciating within this channel. And we're now once again approaching an interesting support area, actually a confluence of supports just above like 670. So I don't think it's such a smart idea trying to push your luck to the short side from here. Having said that, we haven't even seen an attempt of a reversal high, right? And even if we do, my focus is going to be once again in this channel trendline resistance. So, undeniably, we're seeing a sustained, rather orderly, but definitely sustained downtrend. 670 is support, and I guess that by the time we find like some type of a support, if we do, and rebound, 680 is going to be resistance. So, in between, personally, I wouldn't be doing much. But if you want, what you can do is, if you want to take the other side, the closer we go to 670, you can like attempt being long. From a risk reward perspective, it looks decent. But in all honesty, as I said, I wouldn't be doing it. Just giving my thoughts here.
I like that. By the way, I have to run, and I want to say hi to Tracy, who's coming up in a few minutes, and I'm going to watch the recording later.
Yeah, it's going to be nice having Tracy with us, and she's definitely going to give us a good idea of what's happening here with crude. So I'm not going to be really covering that today. I know that Tracy can do that better than almost anybody globally. So why do it myself? So having to do with FX, Blake has always covered things here. Just a reminder, the DXY seems to be breaking back within this rectangle. I had indicated multiple times that this 94.75 area was a beautiful area of resistance and it worked. So far, it has worked very nicely. So I really don't see a very big argument for somebody being long dollar. I'm not saying that we can't see this rebound, you know, being sustained for more days or even weeks, but any way you slice it, I mean, we found a high in March and we've been in a downtrend since. This rebound so far has been in 3 legs, right? 2 legs higher and one intermediate corrective one, with equality target acting perfectly as resistance. We've remained below this broken trend line resistance you see here in purple. So in all actuality, there is no real technical argument for somebody to want to be long here. And if you want me to add something in the mix, I'll tell you that if we draw this trend line here, right, we're getting very, very close to it. And I think that if we bridge through it, the bullish arguments are going to start getting weaker and weaker. And guess what? More or less at the same time that dollar might be breaking through this trend line support here, the RSI might be breaking this trend line support as well. So I really wouldn't want to be long the dollar. But if you do want to be long the dollar, this seems like a nice area to do it, because you know very soon and very fast if you're in the right side of the market or on the wrong side of the market. This also bodes quite well with Gregor's and my theory that this move lower in the S&P looked corrective. So there's a very good chance that we've started another move to the upside in stocks. And we all know very well that, most likely another leg higher in risk should go along with weakness, or at least not strength, in the dollar index and the dollar in general against, the vast majority of currencies. Okay, so from what I see at the moment on the charts, there is no indication that something has changed. I still see the risks tilted for more dollar weakness and the potential for more strength in stocks until proven otherwise. And we all know that respecting the trend is usually the best way to go. It's the one that long-term yields the best results. So I don't think it's easy to fight that. Now, if you really want to fight that, in the case of the S&P, it's more than obvious that the resistance now is at 3,400. So if you really want to fight it, yeah, I guess you can be short against 3,400. But as I said before, I don't really see the bearish argument at the moment here, not as long as we remain above this. It looks like a pennant, so I'm going to call it a pennant for the time being. Okay. Now, looking at other indices, not much is different. The Nasdaq found resistance here. Had quite a bearish day last week as a rejection from there, but still, not a strong bearish argument either. Now, the only place that somebody can make some bearish arguments, and for the time being, I understand why it remains very important, is in the case of the FANGs, because we know that the FANGs had been propelling the market higher for a long period of time. And yes, they do still remain below this channel. I even tweeted about it. I rarely, tweet about market developments lately because I have too many things to do, but I had even tweeted about this. And somebody can easily say here that, listen, the rebound so far, can easily be corrective. So yeah, I do see this, and I do see the potential of something like this. But I would want to wait a little bit more. I don't want to take the other side of the market, especially ahead of the elections. We're entering the very, very last pre-election phase. I'm pretty sure that now is the time that we're going to start getting promises more or less about everything from both sides, right? Both from the Republicans and Trump in this case that wants to be reelected, and from Biden and the Democrats that want to win the elections and not give Trump
Your cat
um,
is disagreeing with you.
a second. Yeah, my cat is so lazy that she has like
Uh,
2 ways of
you
moving
say
around.
no.
Yeah, she has 2 ways in moving around from my office to where she wants to go, but she wants a shortcut, so she demands that I open the door.
She wants to go hunting.
Yeah, right. Like she ever did some hunting. The only thing she hunts is,
Does she still have her claws?
yeah, of course. What do you mean?
Okay. Yeah, some people declaw their cats. That's
That
inhumane.
I
Inhumane.
consider that to be really brutal. I mean, yeah,
I
no
compare
way.
it with castration.
No way. I trim their claws, but
Oh, you
that's
trim 'em,
it. I
yeah.
just trim them. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I bet Tracy doesn't do her own nails.
Let's see.
Huh?
Let's see. Is she
Yeah,
here?
she's here and I'm gonna ask her how she takes care of her claws. Okay.
Let's get her on.
All right. You have become a regular. How are you today, Tracy?
Hey, good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Hey, Tracy.
So how do you
Fantastic.
take care of your claws? I
My
mean your
claws or
fingernails. Yeah.
my
Yeah.
cat's claws.
Yeah.
Tracy also, yeah, that's what I want to say. Tracy also has 1 cat. Tracy or more?
I have one coming in 3 weeks.
Oh.
So, but usually I clip my cat's claws and I get mine done by somebody else.
All right. That's the only thing I've been right about today. Okay. So great.
Now
to
we
have
have the headline for the interview, Dave,
Yeah.
right?
So all right. That's a tagline. So Tracy, you want me to share my screen as we go through things?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Tracy, you want to switch on your camera?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
This morning.
Yeah, that's
Too
only for
early.
summits. That's not. Yeah, that's only for special occasions. Okay, so why don't we start here, since we're not clear here in face about what was the catalyst for the rebounding crude? Was it an OPEC announcement?
Well, there was a meeting yesterday with Saudi Arabia and G20 nations energy ministers. So basically, but we got a bunch of headlines out of that saying, we're watching the oil market. We're going to do everything we can. Blah blah blah. We also had a worker strike in Norway. So
Oh,
what is it? Like 330,000 barrels per day are offline right now.
okay.
Then we had Fujairah oil stocks came out and they declined for a fifth week. So we're at like an 8-month low. And then we have a lot of bullish news this morning.
Yeah.
And then Total
finally.
came out and said that basically their retail demand in Europe is almost back to levels that were this time last year. So there was a bunch of bullish news that came out.
Well, I'm
morning.
sure most of your followers know, and anyone that was at the summit knows that you have become constructive to bullish in the oil complex, and we had this pullback in here. Do you think that what are your levels for accumulating oil? Was that it last week, or do you have any?
I mean, we
levels
could take
lower?
another leg lower. I mean, right now there's so many factors. We do have Europe starting to shut down again. So if we have, right now it's in select cities, and there's, not total shutdowns, but we have restrictions. So, if everything starts shutting down again, then oil will take a huge leg lower.
Okay.
But so right now there's just too many kind of unknowns to quantify. I mean, I think from here on out to the rest of the year, I don't really see a ton more upside. I think we're, again, I talked about this at the summit, I think we're pretty much in range, that $30 to $40 range,
Okay.
at least for the rest of the year. Again, unless something happens and the whole world goes on lockdown again, of course.
Okay, so really the only negative you see out there is the unpredictability of like a second wave
Yeah, I
in
mean,
Europe.
right now things seem to be improving.
Yeah.
We'll have to see, it's kind of, take it month by month right now.
Okay.
And the same with any kind of macro data right now coming out of everywhere.
Yeah, especially once we get into, well, maybe not this November with what's going on, politically here in the U.S. But sometimes November to December is kind of a quiet, calm period
Yeah,
in the
and it's
market.
yeah, and it's definitely it's a seasonal soft period for oil as well, right?
Okay.
Demand
All
is
right.
down during the winter generally anyway. So
Okay.
that's
And
why I don't
I
really see a ton of upside right now.
and I notice, with some money coming out of the high growth stocks like Amazon and Microsoft,
Yeah.
their bounces were marginal, and that people actually came in and there was a little interest and a little strength in oil shares last week,
Yep. Yes, there was. So
even when crude was down.
even when
People,
crude was down, and
is it just rotation, or are these longer term
I
players that
mean,
see value?
that's definitely something that I'm watching because, what you want to watch is like financials, any of the value stocks. If we start seeing that, like Boeing had a great week last week, right?
Yeah.
So it looks like there might be a bit of rotation here.
Okay.
Which would be obviously positive for oil equities, which have just taken a beating
Uh,
all year.
Okay, one of our attendees, and Great Britain used to be a big play with North Sea oil. Would a Brexit deal or no deal have impact on crude?
I don't think it will affect that much at all. I mean, oil flows are oil flows. It's not,
Yeah.
that won't change any of the oil flows.
Okay, and let me ask you where you're at with the dollar. I know your preferred short in the dollar is euro. We pulled back from the 120 level pretty good, and
Yeah, that was a nice trade. I mean, I'm still bullish the dollar. We had a nice bounce. Right now, we're kind of at a make or break period. Like, it's
where do you
either
see it?
so
93-ish or what for make or break in Dixie?
so yeah, like 90, 93, like 93-ish. If it's kind of breaks there, if you can kind of see that consolidation if you look left,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
we could go back down in there and bounce there for a while and then bounce out. But that's kind of the area you don't really want to be long below that, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. So make or break in euro as well. Is that your preferred short? Maybe back over 118. You have to throw in the towel for euro. Otherwise, we could get.
Yeah.
Do you have any downside targets if the dollar gets legs? That could take the euro down to what, maybe 114. Looking at the daily, if we got back through this 116 level, maybe
Right.
prior
Yep,
highs here, right
Yep,
here.
exactly.
Okay,
Would
am
be
I
my next area, that
okay?
would be
Am
the
I a
next
chart
level.
mind reader?
You are.
All right, so 114, and what else are you paying attention to right now?
Really, right. That's really what I'm focused on, and NASDAQ.
Oh, okay. So Nasdaq, we hardly ever talk about this. What are you thinking? It was a pretty kind of ugly day Friday when the COVID news broke. S&P's recovered to be down like 0.5%, but Nasdaq was down 2.5, 2.75%. Is this a tell that this correction in the market isn't over? Is that what you're thinking?
That's what I'm thinking. I would say, I'm really watching to see if we retest that like uh, 11,200 area, right there.
These lows,
Because
yeah.
Yeah, because I think if we hit it again, it's likely to break. So I'm watching for a break of that. If not, then, then it's back to new highs. But I think right now with all of, Trump has COVID and with some uncertainty with the elections, I'm not positive we'll see new highs this year. We totally couldn't, but we might, kind of stall out here a little bit.
Okay, well, I know you're looking at the NASDAQ and maybe it doesn't show up as well, but I've been talking about this for a while and Steve brought it up today. What do you think of this formation right here in Amazon?
Well,
Isn't that out of a textbook?
they all kind of look like NASDAQ. I mean, all the like thing.
Yeah, I can't see a head and shoulders in the NASDAQ, but on some of the components
Yeah,
like
you can.
this
Right.
and like Microsoft, they you have a straight neckline across both of them. And, we could extend the right shoulder a bit, but I think Friday was a tell. And maybe even copper was a tell. You following the action in copper for?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think I wrote about it last week, actually.
What are your writings saying,
So
Trace?
all I did, I mean, what happened is that they had the LME stocks surged 48%.
Wow.
Right.
Is that a huge number that you've never
That's
seen
a huge
before?
that's a huge to surge,
Yeah,
that's a lot. And then Shanghai,
it's a lot of pennies.
right. And then
Yeah.
the Shanghai market had its 9th consecutive week of build. So really, my theory is this kind of false recovery in China, right? Because it's all just stimulus, right? They're just
Right.
building everything and they're ordering everything. But, I kind of think that may be showing signs of, weakness in their recovery. So it's
Yeah.
not quite as V-shaped as they say. If their stocks are rising and LME stocks are rising, at the same time, there is more product coming online because of the closures in Brazil, Peru, and Peru just because of COVID. But still, I mean, that's a big surge.
What do you think about mid to lower 260s possibility here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
And I don't think,
so
I mean, the market's pretty overdone.
yeah, it definitely. I figured maybe I would just do this just to see what we have here. So here's some fibs on copper, and halfway back is going to be about 255, 61.8, 242, and it could still be an uptrend. So I'm assuming right around here is about 38%. So, I want to talk to you because I remember a time period when gold was getting smashed, and I even tweeted about it that you say everything is about yields. So what do you think about what's happening here in this 10-year? Here's a 30. Look at this. Here's a 10. And, I'm looking at this and, for a long time, and with Paul, the backdrop being, we're not even thinking of
Ever.
raising rates.
Ever again.
Yeah, doesn't it look like yields are getting sticky here and could head up?
It kind of, I mean, it looks like that. It looks like, people are, that there's like a steepener happening right now in the market, right? So
Yeah, you could see that between this is a 10 and then look at the 30. It has a much steeper angle back up and it's approaching, in fact, its 200-day is 156. So we start getting through there. This is what the Fed would want, right? Because it should help the banks with yield curve steepening, right?
it should.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going to help the banks, but
Right.
anyway, I mean, if yields are heading up, wouldn't that be negative even for the precious metals? I know you're gold bullish and it's still acting okay, but if
It's still acting okay, but I mean, there could be pressure on it, and gold is also, in times of uncertainty,
Yeah.
it's also a safety trade. So,
Yeah.
I don't really see, I think, and I think I said this last time, I think
You
we're
did.
going to be kind of range bound right now.
Okay.
Because I just don't see, even if yields change and and gold should pull back, I just don't see it happening right this second.
Okay. Because
Not until
yeah,
maybe after the election's over, and even maybe not then, because after the election's over, who knows exactly what's going to happen. I mean, I kind of feel like this might be dragged on for days and days and days afterwards with, vote counts and things like that.
okay. So at the summit, there was an announcement. I didn't have the pleasure of interviewing you, that you have made a move professionally. You want to talk about it at all and
Sure,
have
yeah.
me show it?
I'm writing a hedge fund telemetry now. So if you want, you can sign up for a 2-week trial.
There it
And
is.
there you go. That's
Who's
me.
this guy?
So that's Tommy Thornton.
Okay, Tommy
Um,
Thornton, and there you are.
and there I am. So yeah, so I would love everybody to at least sign up for a trial and see if you like it. I hope that you do.
Okay, world-class hedge fund research, and congratulations. I wish you, a lot of success here. I'm a fan, and I'm gonna sign up now.
All right.
All right, so I'm gonna sign up. So here's some of the prices. 1,000 a year sounds like a lot, but break it down by the month, and it's like 10 cents a contract a month. So looks reasonable to me. And Tracy, I'm always rooting for you. And if is there anything you wanted to wrap this interview? I know it's a little short time wise, but you and I are kind of proficient at covering ground together. Anything
Great.
else you wanted to
Um,
cover?
no, I think that's it.
Anything else you're trading that you want to mention?
I mean, not really. I have, I have trade recs on my research. So, um, if you sign up, you'll get my trade recs and be able to track those. And they're in
Okay.
they're not just commodity futures, but also in equities and energy sector and materials sector.
Okay. So if I wanted to know the issues you talked about, oil issues that have a footprint in Africa, like you talked about Mambia and some other countries in Africa, which you think is going to be a big growth area for energy, I could find them here.
So yes,
Okay. And are you still a USC fan?
am I still a USC fan? I have to be.
Okay. Well, are you glad that we're going to be able to see a couple of Pac-12 games?
Yeah, that'll be
Uh,
nice.
All right. All right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Tracy, for being here today and giving us clean, concise opinions, and the best of luck on your new venture. I hope that your subscriptions mushroom
All
with you
right,
being
thank
on
you.
board. Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thanks. So everyone, yeah, and you could follow Tracy still on Twitter at Shy Girl, not GIRL, GRL, CHIGRL for Tracy Schuchart. And
Yes.
thanks again, Tracy, for being with us, and good hunting this week.
Thank you. And thank you guys as always. It's always a pleasure.
You're a regular now,
All
my trading
right.
warrior sister. All right. So that's a wrap, everyone. See everyone for Turnaround Tuesday. Remember, don't just count your oil barrels or your bullion or your NASDAQ stocks. Count your blessings, and we'll see everyone tomorrow. Adios. And I'll see everyone for Turnaround Tuesday. Have a great one. Thanks again, Trace.
Thank you.